Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I wanted to do something kind of similar to a video I did just a couple of weeks ago about my favorite all-time blushes. First of all, don't mind the Sonic cup sitting right there. That is my water from lunch, and I was a little bit thirsty, so I just left it there just in case I needed it when I was filming. Today's video is going to be my top 5 foundations that are worth every single penny that I have tried. I have a couple of drugstore options, and then I also have a couple of high-end options. I have options for oily skin, for dry skin, for a combination. Anything you can think of, these are the top 5 from my collection that work on my skin type, that also work on other people that I've tried on clients. So if you want to see my top 5 foundations worth every single penny, just keep watching. So the first one I'm going to mention is not technically a foundation. It is a CC cream or a BB cream if you want to go that route. It's still a foundation to me. I mean, you can call it a BB cream, but it's got pretty decent coverage, so I just technically call it a foundation. But it is the Misha Perfect Cover BB cream. You can find this on Amazon. I will link it down below, the link that you can find this on. I know you can find it on some different Korean kind of websites, but I buy mine off of Amazon just because I find that it is the cheapest there and it's the same product. This one specifically is in the shade number 23. I kind of go between this shade and number 21 most of the year. I have number 27, which is more of like a golden undertone. When I'm self-tanned, I'll wear that mixed in with a little bit of this. This just gives you the lightest feeling coverage that you could ever possibly want. I feel like this would work on a ton of different skin types. They don't have a huge shade range, which is the most downfall of this product. It's just the shade range. It just sucks, honestly. It's really bad. They have light to medium tan skin, and that's about it. I think there's about 4 or 5 shades in this. So if I could say anything about this, I would say to improve the shade range on this, just because it's an awesome product, and I think that they could make a little bit more revenue, if you know what I'm saying, if they expanded the shade range. But for the price and how well it wears throughout the day, this is an awesome pick, and like I said, I mentioned it in a couple of other videos, so I won't spend too much more time on it. If you're looking for something that is light to medium coverage that will last you throughout the day, this is really, really good for that. I wanted to throw this honorable mention in here because they do not make this foundation anymore. This brand is actually not a thing anymore, but I do have, I think, at least one more backup of this. This is the CYO Long Lasting Lifeproof Foundation. As you can see, I've used almost the entire bottle out of this one, and I've probably gone through 3 or 4 bottles of this. This gives you a solid medium coverage. It's a really radiant finish. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because you can't get it anymore, and I actually don't even think that you can get the dupe for this anymore. But if I had to pick like one of my favorite foundations of all time, it would definitely be this one. But RIP CYO Long Lasting Lifeproof. So my next foundation here is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Foundation. This is their Comfort Matte Foundation, and I have mine in the shade Swan. This is just a little bit too light for me now. I would have to mix it with a darker foundation just because it is summertime and I'm just a little bit darker. But this truly is a medium to full coverage. Whoa. This is a medium to full coverage foundation, leaning more on the full side. It does have a satin matte finish. It is not fully matte for sure. I wouldn't be able to get away with it if it was fully matte. This is definitely a satin foundation, and you can very much manipulate it to fit your skin type. So if you put a more mattifying primer under this, it would be more matte, but if you put a more dewy primer under it, it would be more dewy. So I like that about it, just because you can manipulate it. This does say on here that it is transfer proof, and honestly I have tested that before and it is very true, but I find if you don't set it with a powder, it can transfer a little bit, but definitely not as bad as other foundations. It says it's oil free, it's a 14-hour wear, oil controlling, and photo friendly, so this won't give you any flashbacks. So this is a really good one for pictures as well. This wears amazing on oily skin. This wears great on my skin, which is dry to combo. It does kind of smell like peaches, but it's not overly strong, so I think you'd still like it if you're kind of sensitive to smells. It does retail for, I think it's $34. You actually get more product than a standard foundation. You do get 1.6 fluid ounces, so for $34 you're actually getting over half an ounce more product than a normal foundation, so I think that's an awesome price for this. And moving along, the next one I have here is the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Foundation. This is in the shade LN6. This is about my perfect shade right now in the summertime. This is really neat. This is like the most innovative foundation I've ever found. So on the top here you do have just a standard foundation pump, but this also can double as a concealer because it has a doe foot wand that you pull out. I honestly, most of the time, just take that out and just stripe it on my face. I know a lot of people think that that's not very sanitary, but you put concealer over blemishes, and I'm doing the same thing with my face, so I like to do that just because it makes things quicker. But this is a more matte foundation, especially if you put a mattifying primer under this. The e.l.f. Matte Poreless Putty I tend to wear every single day just because it gives me the most flawless base, and it also controls oils a little bit better. But if you put that under this foundation, you can make this foundation very, very matte. But on the flip side, you can make it kind of more dewy, more satin if you put a dewy primer under it. So again, I like foundations that can be manipulated very easily by primers, but this is one of the best. It retails for $36. They have 100 shades in this, which is mind-blowing, honestly, because you know, most other brands only have maybe 20 or 30. This has 100 shades, so you're definitely bound to find your perfect shade in this. Ironically, this is a little bit too dark for me in the wintertime. I cannot wear this one in the wintertime, but honestly, I don't know if I would love it in the wintertime. Maybe if I put a more dewy primer under it. I would recommend this for all skin types, especially because you can manipulate it with primers. But I have seen Raw Beauty Christy. I will link her channel in the eye and down below. I've seen her use this. This is her favorite foundation of all time. You can get away with not setting it with a powder, and I have actually done that before, and it works pretty well, and I usually set every single foundation that I put on. This is an awesome one. Because of the shade range and the formula of this, I would give it 5 stars, and of course it's worth every single penny in my opinion. So this is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is in the shade Mont Blanc. This is a wintertime foundation for me. If I would try to wear this right now, it would be a little bit too light. I wish I did have another shade of this, but this is the most expensive foundation in my collection. This is $49. I know that sounds like an outrageous price for foundation. It really is. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought it, but I'm glad I did buy it. This foundation really has kind of a weird formula. You put it on and it's very, very thin. A little bit of this goes a really long way, even though it is so thin. When I first started pumping this out, it pumps out very small pumps. And I thought, this is not going to be enough foundation for my face. There's no way. I have to use more of this. I was wrong. You definitely don't need a whole lot of product for this, especially because it is more on the full coverage side. You don't need a whole lot of product, which I like about it, and it is very, very thin, which makes it a plus for if you needed the coverage. You could layer up more of this because it is so thin. When you put it on your skin, you would think that this would be a more mattifying foundation just based off of the formula, but when you get it on your skin and you wear it throughout the day, there's just something about this foundation where you will look in a mirror and your face will just be glowing. So I understand why they call it the Natural Radiant Foundation, because your face looks natural, but it also looks like you have a very nice glow to your skin, like your skin is naturally glowy, which is my favorite. So I really, really enjoy this foundation. I would pay full price for this again, I think, if I wanted a different shade in this. Let me know if you guys have tried anything else from NARS in terms of their foundations. Let me know which one's your favorite. And yeah, so $49, it's a high price tag, but it has a really great formula. So my last foundation here is also one that I have mentioned on my channel. It's really good, you guys. It's really good. This is the Loreal Infallible Fresh Wear 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I have mine in the shade 420. I think this is the shade Linen, I believe. I'm not sure, but I think that's what it's called. So this is kind of my summer shade. I probably could go a little bit darker, and if I self-tanned, I would definitely need a darker shade of this. This foundation is awesome. I cannot explain it. I can't explain the formula to you because it is just so good. This formula is very, very thin and runny. You're thinking there's no way I'm gonna get coverage out of this when you first put it on. In all humble honesty, this kind of looks like garbage when you first put it on. When I first tried this, it was the dead middle of winter. It was last year before me and my husband went on a Valentine's trip. I don't know what I was thinking, bringing a brand new foundation with me and not bringing anything else as a backup, because that would have been tragic. But I tried this and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks horrible when I first put it on. Granted, I wasn't putting it on the best lighting, but it looked pretty trashy on my face when I first put it on, and I was kind of worried that it was not gonna wear well, that it was just not gonna look good. Boy, was I wrong. I instantly fell in love with it that day. The first day I wore it, I instantly fell in love with this. So this is about $10.99, I think, at Walmart maybe. I will link it on Amazon just because I love Amazon, and I think you can't find every single one of these on Amazon, but the ones that you can find, I will definitely link them down below, and I'll also link them to like Ulta. This has the most thin formula in a foundation I've ever tried. It is super, super runny, but it is definitely a medium to full coverage foundation. You can sheer it out if you want to mix in a moisturizer with it. It has a satin kind of leaning more dewy. The longer you wear it throughout the day, the more dewy you get. So I do think that this foundation would work well on several different skin types because of how it wears. I've recommended this to a lot of different people. My mom likes this foundation. The shade range on this foundation is not the best, but honestly, what foundation from the drugstore has a great foundation range? There's really not many. This is one of the better ones. Actually, on Amazon, you can find more shades of this. That's why I would tend to more buy it off Amazon, because they have in between shades that you can't find in store. This again is my perfect shade match for the summertime. Perfect undertone, very, very nice foundation. Highly recommend for the price and what it looks like on your face when you wear it throughout the day. It's so good. So that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my top 5 foundations that are worth every penny. I will link all of them down below in the description box where you can find them: Amazon, Ulta, Sephora, wherever you have to purchase them from. If you want to see my top 5 of anything else in my collection, let me know. I will be glad to film those for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a new video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.